lovely to have you here. Who is the book for?
Very good question. So when I decided to write the book, I thought a lot about who it would be for. Obviously, I teach women, I teach young girls, but I wanted it to be really inclusive. So it's tailored for women and young girls, but it's focused, not exclusion, so it's still useful for other people as well. There's a lot of women that came to my workshops who expressed the feeling nervous about coming in. You know, they had experiences that put them under pressure, and it was difficult for them to come in, so I thought the book would be useful for them as well.
And you're not trying to scare women? You're
No,
trying to
absolutely
inspire?
Not. Inspire. I think there's enough of that going around already, and I wanted to talk a lot about how to be empowered and how to appropriate fear and instead of running on it, and how to still be aware and present without running on high alert. And I feel like that is what's going on at the moment. It doesn't feel good, it's not useful, so we can be aware and also not run on high alert as well.
That's such a good point, isn't it? Don't run on high alert, because there can be moments, I think, you know, man or woman, if you're walking, maybe it's dark, you're on your own in an isolated place, you can start to feel quite nervous.
Yeah, and you know, it's very natural and it's very normal, and rightly so.
What do you do in that situation?
For me, what I had to tune into is like appropriating fear, and I realised from my experience that I had an elevated response to danger, so I was prone to freezing. So I had to learn how to regulate my nervous system, as well as my combining with my training and my mentality and everything else. But I feel like it's important for me to say as well, just while I've got the time with you guys, that this book is not being presented as a solution to tackle the issue of violence against women. It can be a tool for many things, you know, self-defence, and there's a lot of empowerment in there, mentality, relationship red flags, how to spot a dangerous person, all of these things, but it's not presented as a solution. It's a response to, if you want to, you've got the prerogative, that should be yours, but it's a response to, not a solution.
And how much of this, when you've been writing it and talking, doing your workshops, how much of this is driven by your own experience? You've alluded to
all of it. Yeah. All of it. I literally thought, what would I give 16-year-old me if I had the chance? And that's why I put... And there's a lot of information on organisations that I've worked with, things I had no idea about, like Protection Against Stalkers, which is now available for people since the stalking became illegal in, I think, 2014. Organisations like Bede House, which I work with, and Refuge, and the support systems and understanding, you know, there's a space to talk about things, because I hid a lot because I was, you know, like many survivors, it's unnatural and it feels like shame, so...
What's the one bit of advice you could give to women watching today who, if they ever find themselves in a situation where they're afraid, what would you say?
I would say, firstly, two things. Firstly, contact the organisations that are there for the support. They are professionals, they can give you the guidance, they can give you ways and tools to, if you do feel like you're in danger, they're the place to go for long term. If you're looking for self-defence, it is a great way to empower yourself, but look for, you know, things that are practical and useful and an inclusive space that you can develop in. So.
And to people watching maybe this morning who are thinking self-defence sounds scary and I don't know whether I could do that kind of thing, what do you say to them?
I would say look for women-only spaces if you're thinking about that. That's why I created Fight Like a Girl, so it's a stepping stone, so it's a little bit less intense to walk into a room full of, you have all these preconceived ideas. I went through that myself. So do that and just connect with people. Write to teachers. You can look on their websites, that check if their ethos aligns with yours, and just take the steps. But I think if you are really, really fearful, those organisations, and, you know, I'm a big fan of therapy. I went through, that was a big part of my development. Aligning that with the self-defence is great, because it can empower you, but it's not the only answer, which is why the book's full of a lot of theory as well as the practical side of the self-defence as well.
Well, Della, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about the book this morning. It's Della O'Sullivan, and Fight Like a Girl. The book itself is out on Thursday this